Hey, what's going on, everybody? Mike Banning and Jamie McDonald here for episode number 32 of Mirrorless Minutes. And this is it. This is it for the year. We're done. Next time you see us, it's going to be a brand new year. So how's it going, Mike?
Good. I'm wearing my Santa hat, in commemorative as I was coming up the stairs to do it. I said, I'm grabbing the Santa hat. Yeah. But don't be surprised if it doesn't come off quick because it's hotter than heck. So,
well, I know I've got my winter hat on, even though it's like probably 62 degrees out and raining in December, which makes no sense here in Michigan. But what are you gonna do?
It's been the craziest times. If you're not here in Michigan and probably anywhere in the U.S., it's been crazy.
I saw something online that said that tomorrow is going to be warmer here than in LA.
Yeah, because they're getting
slammed
with cold weather.
It's totally flipped.
Gonna go to Michigan now to warm up.
I've got a lot of driving to do tomorrow, so if the weather's nice, I'll definitely be stopping and shooting along the way. It'll drive my family nuts, but hey, it's what I do.
Yeah, I was just gonna say they're used to it.
Yeah. So what do you want to talk about tonight? I know I've got like a whole list of stuff.
Yeah, you've got a lot to talk about.
And they're all quick things to talk about, but I kind of want you to start off and just show I'm going to say it looks like this crazy MacGyver mountain climbing, like RoboCop thing that you've got sitting on your desk. I don't even know what it is. It looks like something from the Avengers movies.
It's called a Packpod, and this was a Kickstarter project, and obviously it's a tripod, and I'm trying to open one of the legs here. All plastic. It weighs maybe a pound, and look at these legs that you could pull out and adjust. I mean, talk about some serious, legs. And then it has one adjustment up here, so you can open, as I'm doing this here, I hope it works. You can see where you can put out the legs in every direction and how low you can get. Or, you could go up into a tree, have it go sideways, like this. This will be interesting. Where I see this is probably some kind of probably live composite shot that I couldn't normally get.
Or if you have paracord with you, you could tie it around the ball head and throw it up over like the wall of a fortified structure and sneak in like
I could. Yeah, and it doesn't come with the Joky Ball head little thing here. This is actually from a garage. So I just wanted something on there. We'll see. I guarantee you there'll be something written about it.
So it's a BYOBH, huh? Bring your own.
Yeah. But I will tell you, I threw it in my bag when I went to New Jersey 2 weeks ago to do that thing. I didn't get much of a chance to shove it. I mean, it's a pound. It felt like nothing in the bag.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, pretty neat. Those Kickstarter things are always pretty good, and I do like this one. There'll be some uses for it. Got to figure it out.
So it's actually a success story Kickstarter project because you've actually got the product in your hand, which
yes, exactly. Oh, they raised, never know. Yeah, I think in fact we'll have the link to in the show notes, but I do think they raised 2 or 3 times easily what they wanted.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, if you got a GoPro, something like that.
Oh yeah,
that's mirrorless. We could talk about it.
Yep. Right. Yep. If we wanted to stay 100% Oli, we'd say if you have a tough.
Yeah, if you have tough air, and even the air would.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, I think there's some stuff. That's where I see something happening. Maybe setting this thing and jamming it into a tree and waiting for something to come around. Squirrel, bird, something. So we'll see how it goes. So what else you got? I know you do have a lot. You're a new licensed donor, I hear, or you have a new license.
Yes. I am now federally approved, and I don't know if I'm supposed to show people my number or not. I don't care, whatever, but I am officially registered with the FAA to fly that thing back there.
Okay. Okay, so I won't see you in the front seat of my next Delta flight.
Probably not.
Okay, good.
I hope not. If you do, you better just try to get off of that flight. Unless I'm doing a Levi Sim in the cockpit.
Right. Yeah.
everybody. I don't know how in the hell that guy does that. Like, I'm nervous to even look in the cockpit. I'm thinking they're going to be like, what's he looking in here for?
Right.
Meanwhile, every week I see Levi Sim like every week, like selfies with pilots and taking pictures. I'm like, the dude's a charmer, definitely. Very cool. But yeah, so I guess if you have a drone over a certain weight, and I don't remember what the weight is, but the Phantoms are all part of that class of drone, you're supposed to register with the FAA. And it opened up on December 21st, and I think it goes through, oh man, I'm going to draw a blank here. It's towards the end of January if you do it. I think January 28th, maybe. Registration is free. It doesn't cost anything. They'll take $5 from you, but they'll credit it back or whatever, I guess. But after that, I think it's, I don't know, $5 or $10 or something to register. And it's something. And once you do it, though, I noticed it's annual, so you need to re-up annually. I guess it's like my pilot's license. I guess. So I'm supposed to keep my little my certificate of registration with me when I'm flying, and also on my Phantom over there, I've got my certificate number marked on the exterior of my drone. I guess if you are somebody who doesn't want it on the exterior of your drone, maybe if you're doing some sort of video work where your drone is going to be featured in it and you don't want that number visible, you can apply for an exemption maybe so that you can have that number somewhere else, maybe inside the battery door or something like that of your drone. So I'm legit. I'm cool. So, and now I guess apparently the big fuss about it is that once you register, all of your information is publicly available, which as much as my face and mouth and words are on the internet, I mean, hell, people already probably know everything, like what I had for lunch or whatever anyway. So who cares?
But you don't have to show proof of insurance now, do you?
Oh, damn. You know what? That's probably coming, in my state.
Agree. That's what I'm thinking. It sounds like a license.
I'm sure my State Farm agent will see this podcast and say, we have a policy that'll cover that, Jamie. You have everything else with us. Add your drone.
Yeah. Why not? Right. It's a revenue stream.
Yeah. It's crazy. So
I, and I'm looking behind you. So we could do this whole show from things behind you. We'll call it the things.
We'll call it things behind Jamie.
The mic. Don't you want to talk about that? I don't know if we want to say you have dead cats on the show, but
I have a dead cat and 2 deer skulls. But the dead cat is it's on that's the Rode Video Mic Go. Yeah. So I did a little shooting with you a few weeks back in Ann Arbor. We did some video work, and I got to use your Rode. You have the Video Mic Pro, which is a step up from this quite a bit because it's got gains, adjustable gain on the back of it. And I think different cutoffs for the filter, maybe.
Yeah, I think that was it too on the outside.
Spilling my wine. And so basically, I'm dropping all my gear here. So basically what I did is I put together a video over on YouTube where I compared several different microphones because I'm starting to get more and more into doing audio. I mean, if you visit my YouTube channel, you'll see that I'm trying to put out more and more video. And a key component of video is good audio. If your audio sucks, then I don't care how good your video is, it's going to ruin it. So I'm trying to just figure out the best way to capture audio for any given circumstance. And I learned that being with you outside, I want a shotgun mic so that I can isolate, the person I'm interviewing, or if it's turned back on me, so I'm not getting, exterior noise as much. So I invested in the Rode shotgun mic, but I've also got a lavalier mic and the SEMA 1 mic from Olympus, which can kind of be used as a lavalier, but also used as an onboard. And so I just did a comparison of that, comparing the built-in video or audio on the OMD EM5 Mark II. Mouthful. The Rode Video Mic Go, the SEMA 1 from Olympus, and a lavalier from, I think it was Audio Technica is the one that I've got. So it's kind of a cool video. Really brief, just kind of gives audio samples from each one. And that video is on YouTube, and I'll put a link to that in the show notes. But yeah, it's just one of those things I wanted to mention, to get people over there who might be interested in doing video to get in their minds that audio is key. It makes a big difference. And I know some people, before they buy into a mic or aren't sure what kind of mic to get, they might want to hear what the different types of mics sound like. So that's why I put that together.
Exactly.
And the dead cat.
Yeah, you got to have that if you're going to go outside.
Yeah. So the dead cat, basically, let me pull the dead cat off. And I'll tell you what, every time I pick it up, I have to do this because it's so soft. So the dead cat, basically, wind blows against the microphone without something on there to reduce the amount of wind getting to the microphone. It sounds horrible. So that's what this is for. It's not because I just like to rub it on my face, which I do like to rub it on my face, but and what's crazy is how much the dead cat costs. Like it was like $30 for fake fur. I mean, hell, I could probably go to some shady back alley and get a real cat to put on my mic.
Now we're gonna have after us.
I'm sure we lost some viewers after that, but
our cat viewers.
So so if people get a minute, check out that video, and like I said, I'll link to it in the description.
Yeah. Don't you talk about, or maybe you show it? What is it? The LS100.
Yes, and that's also something that I mentioned as well. Olympus. Right. Some people might not realize it, but man, they make some of the best audio recorders, digital audio recorders that are out there. Some of them aren't cheap. The one that I showed, the LS100, it's expensive. It's like $300, but it's something that a recording artist could use. It records multiple tracks and it records at really, really high bit rates, which is basically layman's terms, super, super high quality audio. Right. And you can actually integrate that with the OMD EM5, and that recorder will send out, it does this like slate tone in the camera that the mic can pick up so you can synchronize your audio. It's like right here, and I'm like right here with this stuff. So I don't even mess with that yet, but I have used the LS100 and actually used it on the video that you and I produced together. So that's something people will see sometime after the first of the year. But yeah, so I just rambled on for like 10 minutes about audio on a show about cameras and video and pictures.
But it's all related. It's all related.
Yeah, totally.
It's all, and it's mirrorless.
Yes, it is.
There's no mirrors in any of this audio whatsoever.
Exactly. Yeah.
But so you know what, I can let me talk about out of Chicago, since
it's a grand idea.
And we actually have confirmation now that we are going. We actually signed in, put all of our classes online, and did all the work, the background work that you'll see when you sign in. You can still, you're wearing the Out of Chicago shirt. I think, according to Chris, you can go in now and still get the pre-registration. You can actually sign up, but I do believe all the classes sometime in the first or second week of January will be there to sign, to actually sign in for. And boy, I'll tell you, besides Jamie and I, which of course I would hope that would be something you'd like to come see, but you've got Derek Story there this year. You've got Frederick Van Johnson. You've got who else? You got Rick Salmon is going to be the keynote speaker there. This has really took a step up from the first year to the second year, and now this third year. Wow.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some amazing presenters, and this year I think Jamie and I are doing a little bit different. We're doing one of those workshops prior to the start of the conference. Yeah. So we don't know if it's 6 hours or 5 hours yet, but it's literally going to be long. It's going to be at least that 5-6 hours. And we're going to go out. We're going to go probably a couple hours in the classroom, go over every single setting possible, talk about how to compose, how to where to find the best spots, everything for live composite. And then we're going to go out and we are going to show and shoot for probably up to 3 hours, I would think, with probably 10:30, 11 o'clock at night in the city of Chicago. And I tell you, it's one of the best places in the world for live composite, because the action and the motion is just amazing there. So, if you have an Olympus camera, you definitely want to get in on this. And I would tend to say, if you didn't have an Olympus camera and you wanted to get in on it, we likely probably will find you something. Yeah,
we could probably help out with that.
Help you out.
Live composite is one of those things that is such a revolutionary function and feature in a camera. And in all honesty, if you're not an Olympus user and you're considering the jump into a mirrorless camera, I would highly recommend, if you're thinking about attending Out of Chicago, come and go on the workshop that Mike and I are doing for live composite, I think once you try live composite, your brain is going to explode. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. I have to have one of these cameras. It is that big of a deal. So
every single time we've done a workshop last year, everybody that didn't have, and it didn't even matter if you had a Panasonic. Yeah, everybody that didn't have an Olympus was like, "You've got to be kidding me."
Every time I've shown that feature to someone and they've never seen it before, and they've heard of it but never seen it in action, it's when the image starts to develop on the back of the camera. One of two things happen. Number one, people either let out a string of expletives in amazement at how incredible it is, or the other thing is a string of expletives or something of that nature, followed by, I can't believe my Canon or my Nikon or insert whatever other brand can't do this. And, you know, it is that cool.
And it actually makes you think about that too. You're thinking, well, you know what? Why couldn't everybody do this? But yeah, we always say we need to advertise that more. We need to talk about it more. So, excuse me, I had a cold coming on here. You can tell. But then we're each going to do a class outside of that class, which is the normal, probably what were they last year? 60 minutes.
Yeah, that's my class will be a 60 minutes, and it's going to be, well, go ahead. I'll let you're talking. I'll let you talk.
Well, no, that's okay, because I was going to ask you what exactly yours is. Mine's going to be on following your passion on urban photography.
Very cool.
It's going to be some street, but mostly just about urban photography, you know, going out, some different ways to shoot. It's a lot of the presentation I did in New Jersey a couple weeks ago. I thought it ended up being real good. I got a lot of questions from it, and that should be a lot of fun. It's not about urbex. There's a little bit in there. It's more about urban. It's more about, you know, being out, not breaking laws, you know, not breaking and entering any of that.
It's perfect. It's the perfect class for Chicago.
For Chicago, right.
So I'm going to do one on creating dramatic landscapes. I mean, it's kind of the niche that I fall into. At least I feel personally that that's what I excel at, if anything. So, and it'll be the same kind of thing. It's going to go over the basics of composition, finding a subject that works, that offers some drama to it. And also, hopefully this comes out really well in the class. I'll go over my processing techniques. Apparently this wine is way stronger than I thought. I'll go over the processing techniques that I use and the software that I use to show people that they can take a scene that for most people wouldn't seem very dramatic or dynamic, and just in the way that I process things, there's a few tricks and techniques that I have that can turn basically the mundane into something pretty incredible. And actually, two of the photos that I show today, I should show the before and after so you get an idea of it, but I'm just going to show the after. Those are two scenes that were basically, to probably somebody driving down the road, they wouldn't even give it a second thought, but I knew what was hidden in that scene and was able to bring it out. So that's kind of what my class will be. So 60-minute.
Yeah, and it's going to be pretty quick, those classes. And those are the ones you can just sign up for. I know we'll do a couple walks. We'll have a couple photo walks, which will be fun. And then, you know, and then who knows, we might bring some of that mic stuff out and do some interviews.
I would love the opportunity to interview people who view this podcast or the show
That's what I was
in Chicago. Nothing would be more exciting for me to have somebody who watches the show let us sit down with them and just talk shop. You know, that's exciting to me. I mean, you know, so hopefully we get the chance to do that.
I don't think we're gonna. I mean, we might if we can grab somebody, but we're not gonna try to grab every photo superstar that's teaching. We actually would rather talk to the people like last year when we had in that first night we had a big group and that table all around us, and everybody talked about mirrorless minutes, and I expect to have that same thing, and you know, we get some people on that are always doing great things, and it'd be cool to have you featured.
Oh yeah, totally. It would be like I said, it would make my night to be able to do that, or my weekend, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so what do you wanna do some pictures?
Yeah. You want to go first?
Sure, I can go first. Yeah, let's see here. Let me flip over to the.
It's been a while since we've done this, so
I know.
It's been 2 shows ago.
Okay, let's see. Do you see my new Christmas card up there?
Oh yeah, sexy, sexy. I shouldn't say that. Hopefully they don't see me saying that, but
all right, so we'll go pretty quick. But I just you may have seen this if you're following me online. You may have seen this. This is the reason that I love street photography. I might sound weird. I might sound odd. Jamie says that about himself sometimes when why he gets all geeked up about stuff. But this picture does that for me. Getting close, getting into people like this, and really just getting a look that you can't find anywhere else. I absolutely love it. This is in New York, so this just reminds me so much of New York. Everybody's so frenzied and running from one place to another. When I got this shot, I was so happy to, just to get it. The lady's look is off the charts to me. But and then the next one also from New York, and this is doing a lot of stuff that we talk about in our street photography workshops, and trying to find an interesting background and just settle in and put yourself there and see what you can pull from it, and getting that backdrop as clear as I could with some great clarity, and then you can see the sunlight coming down. Actually, right here, this is all sunlight coming off of another gold building or something. But with the person running through, just felt like a great street shot, and it looks like that person's actually looking at her too. And if you look back here, I don't know if Lou's watching tonight, but I see Lou Peoples right here. I just noticed that actually right now. He's in there in the reflection. One more from New York and just the World Trade Center. One World Plaza there. Live or not live, but art filters, dramatic art filter, just between the buildings. Just love shots that show it's hard when you're standing there to understand the size of these buildings, but that was an amazing day. And actually this is caught just running across the street real quick, seeing it and going, oh crap, I've got to get it right there. Excuse me one second. And then the next one here is something I just did this week, and you may have seen. I just wanted to talk about it, and that was that focus stacking. The focus stacking in camera on the EM1. So 5-6 shots, I think, is what it ended up taking for this. With the 12-40 lens, no extra lighting, nothing. I just set it up on a tripod, threw it up there, and let her rip. And if I go back to this, I probably go back, make sure the second or the second hand here, or not second hand, but the seconds isn't moving. I know I saw it, caught it moving there a little bit, but just the clarity. I mean, this is shot out of camera, it comes out as a JPEG, done nothing to it. So there's great possibilities there, I think, in the future. And then the last one, I won't go into it too deep because I know I'll put a link, or Jamie will have a link there in the show notes of this is one of those, how did you get that shot, the number 6 installment. And it's the end of Christmas. You may have seen it already, but I didn't get a chance to talk about it on the last show when we had Derek on. And this was a lot of fun. This is an EM10 with a fisheye lens. My wife's driving the car, hanging on this yellow line, being mad, thinking that she's probably going to get pulled over because she was hanging on that yellow line. And this whole thing is only 2 blocks long, so you don't have a lot of time. We drove back and forth for an hour, so I don't know how many trips we did, 20, 30 back and forth. But she's a trooper, amazing shot. So she's part of this for sure. But this is actually suction cup to the roof of my car, and my head sticking out the sunroof here. And I'm sitting in the back seat with my head out the sunroof. And I could have run it off of the OI Share app too, because you can do live composite now. But I was a little concerned that the suction cup might not work. And I really didn't want to see that thing flying behind me in the rear view mirror, my EM10. So I just kept it on like that. And, just a lot of fun, and all in Rochester here. Got all these storefronts that put this together, with all the lights and stuff. So check it out if you're into it. This is live composite, just another way, making it happen. So yeah, that was a lot of fun, and I will stop sharing and take a drink of water.
She's a good sport for doing that.
Yeah, I know. I know.
It's amazing what our wives.
She's reminded me many times.
Amazing what they'll put up with for us, There we go. Adjust my mic a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, so let me see. Share a few photos here. Let's see. I want that screen. There we go. All right, so this is exactly what I was talking about an otherwise probably really boring looking sunrise. It was when I first got up to go shoot the sunrise. I got up early specifically to shoot the sunrise and noticed that it sucked. It seriously was like the weakest sunrise ever. But because instead of sleeping in, I got up early just to shoot it, I thought, all right, screw it. I'm going to try and make the best of it and see what I can get. And I could just make out enough contrast in the sky to where I knew that if I used the processing technique that I like to use, that I would be able to pull a little bit of detail out of it, actually a lot of detail compared to what the naked eye saw. So this is a single frame. So it's not even a bracketed shot. So this shows you what you can do with a single raw file. And I think this was shot with the EM10 Mark II, if I'm not mistaken. And this next shot was, again, same day, exact same location, a couple of seconds later, literally a couple of seconds later. And I'd always wanted to get one of those little crystal balls to play around with it. So I decided to bring that along for the sunrise and take a shot of it. And this was like 30 degrees colder than it is now. And it was a couple of weeks ago. So
yeah, it'd be cold.
Again, it just shows you, that what you can get, again, single frame. And I'm shooting straight into a sunrise, and the sunrise is not overexposed. A lot of it comes down to just, how you meter. So I use auto exposure lock to get the sunrise, kind of dialed down a little bit so it doesn't overexpose, but still be able to pull out enough detail in the shadows to make the shot. And of course, that's heavily processed, obviously, a lot of vignette and stuff to kind of draw your focus to the sphere. But same kind of thing, EM10 Mark II again. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember what lens this was, to be honest with you. So this is a pano. Obviously, I think this is like 3 shots pano, and it's not, again, a bracketed shot. It's just 3 individual frames, and shooting a rainbow or whatever. I was just excited because when I got to the location, if you can follow the cursor here, I don't know if it shows up in the screen share or not, but in the open blue sky, you can actually see part of the rainbow as it comes over. I had never seen that before, so I was kind of excited to be able to shoot that. And, I was excited to go back and shoot the barn that I shoot once or twice a year.
I was just going to say, that is the barn, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the barn. And so the next shot, on my drive home, I'm always looking. I am constantly in photographer mode on my drives. And if you notice behind me when I reached to grab my camera with the mic on it a minute ago, there was a deer skull sitting back there. There's actually 2 deer skulls. This is the second deer skull that I found on my drive home. And I don't know who's doing it or why or whatever, but I'm finding deer skulls hanging in trees. And they just make the creepiest weird shot. So, and I guess I'm creepy weird because I stop and shoot the photo and then I take the skull and bring it home, which if you talk to my wife, she'll tell you pisses her off to no end, because the last time I did it, there was a spider egg case in it, and I released probably 200 or 300 spiders in the house, which, again, not, probably the coolest thing, but whatever. It's the price we all pay for me being a photographer in the house. And this last shot, and you can't see it probably from a screen share, but I'm telling you, the center portion of this shot is actually really damn sharp for what I used to shoot it. And we'll talk about what I used to shoot it after I stopped the screen share. But this spec-wise, I'll tell you, is the OMD EM10 Mark II, ISO 200 at f1.4 on a 25 millimeter. And I'll show you what lens it was right about now. So that's the next thing I wanted to share was this is the lens I shot it with. This is a closed circuit television security camera lens, or CCTV lens. The whopping cost of this is no, I know everybody doesn't, have a giant budget. So that's exactly why I'm sharing this with you. It was $25 for the lens with the adapter to mount it to a Micro Four Thirds camera. I'll link to it in the show description as well, but it's not going to be a sharp lens outside of like the center bit of the image frame,
Right.
but it is f1.4, and because it is soft, and you depending on your setting, I've got a few shots that I didn't want to share. They weren't exactly how I wanted them. You start to get that weird Pets Vol kind of looking swirl to your bokeh for $25. I mean, hell, everybody should have one of these just like in your front seat somewhere. I mean, it really costs like nothing to have, and it's fun. And that shot of the little Danbo guy, the little Amazon guy, was shot with the pop art filter. That's straight out of the camera, no processing. That's just, I shot it and dragged the JPEG into preview on my Mac and shared it with you guys. So super easy to do. And it's a fun lens. And I'm thinking that this is like my new art filter lens. Like I'm always going to shoot an art filter with this lens on, just because it's not going to be perfect and technically sharp and all that, except for in the very center of the frame. But
yeah, that actually, cool. that is a pretty cool little lens to put on there, and it really, I could see that for anything. I know I was talking before the show about just using it in the streets.
Oh yeah, totally. It's
wild shots with that thing.
It's funky, you know, and they make it in a few different focal lengths. So this one's 25 millimeter. The longer focal lengths cost a little bit more. There's a 35 millimeter that I think is like $35, and then a 50 that's about 40. Wow, I know. Like you spend more on a lens hood.
I was just gonna say, aren't the lens hoods? About 35 or $40.
Exactly. So yeah, that's just kind of one of those things I wanted to share. You know, it's fun. I just got it today. And I've probably put maybe 30-ish photos across it, and every one of them was very fun and artsy and kind of cool. So
yeah, well, I expect we'll see some more in our first show of the new year.
Oh yeah,
because you have some time off like I do between the holidays, and chances are we might pick up a camera or two. Yeah, exactly. During that time frame. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. Well, let's see. What else do I have? Really, the only other announcements that I was going to bring on today is that we are meeting next week, Jamie and I. We're going to wrap up and try to put together the workshops that we're going to do for 2016. And, you know, we're really trying hard to talk about getting out to Atlanta and Philadelphia. That's like our two that we want to really get there, because we know we got a lot of people that would come to those and are in those areas, and then we actually may hit something. I know we talked about doing something right here in Grand Rapids, you know, on the west side of the state, which would be awesome, because I have not shot there enough at all. And there's enough to do there from a street perspective all the way to the country. For sure.
I'm hoping that when Mike and I do the sit down and discuss things when we get to the Michigan portion of our schedule for next year, that we kind of do the same format we did last year. We did the small town to downtown, basically urban and country, except we do it on the west side of the state. And, you know, like Mike said, Grand Rapids is a very cool city, and the surrounding countryside, I'm really familiar with it over there. So there's some cool spots to stop and shoot there. So.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, it's funny is I lived there for 2.5 years. I should know it better, but I wasn't into the photography the same way.
Well, I can tell you what, if you lived there for 2.5 years and it was more than 4 years ago, it's a completely different town. It's
a whole long time more than 4 years ago, like 1992. So
it's probably changed a ton. It's a city that is constantly in transition. So
that will be great. What else did you have? You had
so I just kind of wanted to hit on the December Black and White Challenge that that's out there for people. So that wraps up in, you know, just a few days. There's not too many days left in this month.
Right.
So get over to the Mirrorless Minutes page on Facebook, you know. And you know what? And to be honest with you, I totally am flaking on the hashtag that I told everybody to use, but it's in the show notes from the last show. From the video that I posted on the Mirrorless Minutes YouTube channel.
Right.
Just share your black and white images with us. I'm putting together a little goodie bag. You know, Mike and I are to send out. We're just going to select a photo that just kind of stood out to us. That was a black and white.
There's some awesome ones too. Boy,
oh my gosh, yes.
Wow. People are really like taking to it. And I've got some cool stuff to bring from that Click Your Clothing. They sent us a couple cool stickers and buttons and stuff with, skeletons taking, using the camera and stuff. So that'll be fun too. Yeah, we'll have a whole bag full of junk for you.
That's awesome. I know. And just kind of riding on the black and white theme. And it feels weird to even show stuff like this on here, but I'm so excited. I love black and white, especially landscapes and things. Digital Photo Magazine is their black and white issue. That was pretty neat to have a little single page spread in Digital Photo Mag that features one of my black and white photos of the barn that I showed tonight, actually. And to be honest with you, that black and white photo of that barn is the first. Well, it was in a series of like 6 or 7 shots that I shot in a burst, but that was the first time I'd seen that barn, the first time I'd shot that barn.
Oh, really?
So, pretty exciting to have, that barn featured in a magazine. I was pretty stoked to see that.
Yeah,
so
especially in today's world, magazines are just not, the thing. And if you get featured in one, it's, like you said, very few in between, far in between.
Yeah,
that's excellent. And that looks, the magazine looks cool. It's probably, if it's a black and white issue, it's a perfect timing for the contest.
Exactly. That's kind of how I figured all this kind of plays together. So
yeah, really cool.
I don't know if I have a whole lot to talk about after that. We are at the 30-minute mark. I was going to kind of show this though.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So I did I'm doing these little camera hack videos or whatever, and they're not going to necessarily be just for camera specific gear, but just things in the photography world to help you out, make things a little bit easier for yourself. Battery management is a pain in the butt. I know if I'm out shooting like all day, like if I'm urbexing or whatever, and I bring like 2 cameras and 8 batteries, and I'm throwing empty batteries in my bag and I'm pulling fresh ones out. And then I'm like, damn, which pocket was the empties and the fulls? And it's like, oh, I suck at it. So Mike was showing me a while ago that he uses these little Q-tip containers. And I couldn't find the ones that he found. They're hard to find.
No, you can't get them anymore. That's it.
And that's probably why they're hard to find.
And they're not on eBay or anything.
So my wife brought home, she big into crafting and like crocheting a lot now. So she was at Joann Fabrics getting yarn, and she saw these little they look like a little, I don't know, like a little tote with little snap top lids. And she brought some home for me, said, aren't you looking for something to keep batteries organized in? And I thought, oh my gosh, these are perfect. They'll hold 2 batteries from, my EM10 or EM5 or the EM1. It'll hold 2 in there. So basically my system of organization is, I don't have them labeled yet, but when I put my batteries in one of these holders, if the contacts are facing up, it means it's empty. That's just how I know. So it'll hold 2 of them in here, and I'll just throw them in the bag. I'll throw the empties in these, and I keep the fresh batteries just floating loose in the bag. So they're like $1.29 a piece or something. I mean, again, it's one of those things where why not have something like that handy? And if I can find a link to those things, I'll put it in the show description. If not, just check out your local craft store or whatever. It was just in like a little bin for storage. They kind of work cool. They make little smaller ones if you have smaller batteries, if you just want to put a single battery in there to hold 1. But I just thought they were kind of cool. Safe way to store your battery.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Easy too. That's the key, is just making it simple and easy. And like you said, the other ones, like if you're outside in the cold, you're probably keeping those close to you, the live ones. So they're warm against your chest or in a coat or pocket or something.
Exactly. Yep. So I guess that's probably about it. We're at like 40 minutes in, and I think we covered a lot, actually.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, we kept rolling. And it is the last show of the year, and I've got to wrap some gifts.
Yeah, I hear you. We're getting down to the wire.
Wrap some gifts.
Oh, you know what? And something that I should mention too, and it's in the early works, and I've got to get some of the logistics worked out, but it's looking like I'm going to end up in Arizona with fellow trailblazer Alex McClure. He does this astrophotography workshop up in the mountains in Arizona. Gorgeous area to do it. If you live anywhere east of the Mississippi, you are not seeing the true night sky. There's just so much light pollution east of the Mississippi. And even if you get into like the darkest area you can find east of the Mississippi, I'm telling you what, it's not like it is out west. Lower humidity out there opens up the sky so much more, as far as you don't get the distortion from the humidity in the air. And at a higher elevation, it's cooler. You don't get distortion from heat rise and things like that. So Alex puts on this astrophotography workshop, and he's invited me to come out and help him instruct it and be a part of that. So again, working on details for that. And as soon as that gets more hashed out, you can expect another announcement about that. I'm totally
that'll be cool. And you're right though. When I was out there with Alex and we shot those domes in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
I've never been to somewhere where you hold up your hand and you don't see your hand in front of your face. You're like, are you serious?
Yeah, it's
like
so cool.
It is so dark. It's scary dark.
Yep.
So I can only imagine what that would be like up in the mountains too.
Yeah. So I think that is in May. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'll have to double check. It's still a little early for me getting out all this stuff planned out. I mean, we're not even to the new year yet, and I'm trying to plan out 2/3 of the way into the next one, but that's how it works. So thanks everybody for tuning in to Mirrorless Minutes. We love having so many cool viewers watch.
Yeah, it's been a great year. Really has.
Definitely has. And 2016 promises to be even better. So
yeah.
Happy holidays to everybody. Happy holidays, Mike. I'll see you in a few days.
That's true. Merry Christmas, man.
All right.
Take it easy,
care.
everyone. Bye-bye.